Welcome guys to my F1 2021 My Team series. The game is finally here. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's just get straight on with it. Let's get into the single player career. It's a My Team save. We are going for a custom season, however. I am going to do only 16 races. However, it's going to be a realistic 16 races because what I've actually done is taken out the circuits that have been taken off the calendar. So Canada, Singapore and Australia are gone, and because I had to take off another circuit, I just took off Russia as well, because why not? And here we are, just quickly going through the settings that I have put onto this career mode. I've put the safety car onto increased because, you know, we want more action, don't we? And the safety car really provides that. I'm starting with the AI difficulty on 95. That is what I started with on F1 2020 before eventually going up to 100. But this game feels very different to F1 2020 in my opinion. So there you go. Surface type is realistic. Flashbacks are enabled. Car damage I set to simulation, and car damage rate I leave on standard because, you know me, I'm a very aggressive driver at times, but also at times I can get it wrong. And if I get it wrong once with simulation car damage and simulation car damage rate, I am going to struggle to finish any races at all. So I put that on standard. Low fuel mode is on easy, race starts on manual, and of course collisions are on. Now in terms of the icons, I've chosen not to allow them, at least for now. If I get far enough into this series, I may use them at a future time. But now let's get on with actually creating the team.
Welcome to My Team. Here you'll experience the world of Formula One, not only as a driver, but as the owner of a brand new F1 team. First things first, let's create your driver.
Don't need to spend too long on this. My driver is me, my real name, my driver number is 98. That's about it. So after the driver creation, that is what I look like, that is what the race suit looks like, and all of that sort of stuff.
We'll start with an easy one. What name would you like to give the team?
Easy one again. As I said in the episode 0, the team is going to remain as LZR Racing.
Nice! Now, some kind of income stream is critical, so we need to sign a primary sponsor.
So this is where the first of the 3 votes actually comes into play. I asked you guys to vote on what kind of sponsor do we go for. Do we go for the low budget, realistic target, high budget, hard target, or medium of the two? And overwhelmingly, the medium of the two won. So I'm going to go with Echo, who want the target of achieving 2 points finishes during the season, and with a signing bonus of $4.6 million.
Fantastic! Now we've got a budget to work with. Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So, let's sign a power unit supplier now. We need both performance and durability from our power unit, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into.
So this is where the next vote came into play. I asked you guys to vote on what engine to use: Renault, Honda, Mercedes or Ferrari, in that order. And believe it or not, the vote was actually tied between Honda and Mercedes. But obviously I've had to step in on that matter because it was 3 votes each. And I have decided that I am going to go with Honda. It's the most complete package of them. And also, let's switch it up. I've used Mercedes every time.
We almost have all the key partners for our team now, but we still need a teammate for you. These are the drivers available to be your first teammate. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, so consider everything when deciding who to hire. Drivers earn acclaim based on their performances. When a driver earns enough acclaim, they will level up. The higher a driver's level, the more acclaim they will earn for their current team. And remember, the faster the team levels up, the faster our income will increase. The higher a driver's experience, the more resource points are earned to spend on vehicle upgrades. Racecraft is the driver's skill to effectively complete overtakes when opportunities arise. Awareness shows the driver's ability to avoid errors and incidents. Pace describes the driver's ability to set competitive lap time. Focus represents the driver's current form and state of mind. Rating is a summary of the driver's overall skill level.
So here we are then, selecting our teammate, and when I saw these first 4 drivers I thought I'd been absolutely screwed, but then I scrolled to the end and there was Robert Schwartzman staring me in the eye straight away. He's so much better than all of the other drivers on that list. He's not got the highest focus, that belongs to Marcus Armstrong, but of course focus changes over time, I mean as do the actual stats, but 70 rated, Robert Schwartzman is going to be my teammate for Season 1.
Looks like we can afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
And this is where I'm actually going to leave it until the main menu now. I'm not going to show you my creation of the car. The badge is already there. The car is not. I'm going to save that for the car reveal. But before we get to the car reveal, we now have an interview with Will Buxton. So let's go.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
I mean, I did it last year, so I'll do it again, but it has been a lot of hard work, and if I didn't believe in myself and the team, I wouldn't have taken it on.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
I mean, Robert Schwartzman's a fantastic driver in F2. He's the highest remaining F2 driver from last year on the grid this year, and he's also in the Ferrari Driver Academy. And he's got a lot of potential, and I think we will see him in F1 in real life fairly soon.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
I have absolutely no idea, Will, and that's why I'm going to say that we won't know until it looks good, until we get out on track.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
And this is the first question that will actually affect facilities and R&D, which is why I'm going to talk about reducing drag, because these FOM cars are not the greatest in a straight line.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
And again, I'm going to mention about it being a light car, so it can help with top speed and through the corners, because that's where we're going to need it most.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
And this time I'm going to give that gold star to the chassis department, because that will improve the chassis department's facilities from day one, and I feel like it's somewhere I don't normally give enough attention.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you, and of course to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it, and thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
And we have now reached the day of the car reveal almost. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Shall we see the car? Let's go! And would you look at that, our car for Season 1 of the My Team Career Mode on F1 2021. It looks absolutely beautiful, and as you can probably tell, the result of the vote for the car was a black base with gold secondary colour and red tertiary colour. Now there is quite a bit of gold. At the moment it's yellow. I can't get the exact colour I want. So at the moment it looks yellow, but trust me, once I can mod, I guess, because I will do modded liveries, of course, you know I will, it will be the right colour. But for now, we're sticking with this. It does not look like a Renault, which is what I was hoping for. I did not want it to look like a Renault. And it's a very, very nice looking livery as well. It's a very nice mix of the colours, which I really, really like. And the Echo sponsorship looks nice on it as well. And we're here just quickly checking out the R&D tree, not R&D tree, sorry, the R&D chart for this season so far. As you can see, we are the 4th worst car out of 11, so we are the 8th best car. We've made slightly more improvements than everyone else has, which is good. Most of those upgrades coming on the aero and chassis side of things. We've got our Honda power unit in the back. We've got our second driver, Robert Schwartzman. I think it's time to do a little bit of qualifying, so let's go and do some qualifying, shall we? So as you can see, we're heading out on our first flying lap ever in this car. We've got an achievement unlocked to race the pass. I definitely did not spin at the coming out of the final corner. This game handles quite a bit differently to the last one. Oversteer central. You cannot plant the throttle out of corners, even if you've got all the assists on. It's just not possible. But we head out on our first flying lap, and as you can see, it's actually going fairly alright, maybe, I don't know. We go out of turn 4 now. It's looking okay so far, I'm not going to lie. And as we enter the final corner on our first flying lap in this car, what's the time going to be? Are we going to lift ourselves off the bottom of the leaderboard with this time? Well, let's find out. No, we don't. So here we are then on our second and final flying lap of Q1. And the reason I only did 2 laps as opposed to 3 is because at the start of the session, I stupidly accidentally drove out of the garage. I normally just go straight to flying lap. But no, I drove out by mistake, so I had to go back into the garage again and just, you know, basically abandon a lap, essentially. So I've only had time for 2 laps. As you can see, we are rock bottom of the leaderboard at the moment. Could we potentially get off the bottom, though? This lap's looking a little bit better so far. We're very, very even as we head into Sector 2. We're gaining time, then losing time, then gaining time. We're now gaining a bit of time as we go through the Turn 8 hairpin here. We've gained 2/10 all of a sudden, but as we come out of the corner, we're gaining even more here. We've actually got good traction coming out of that corner. Now into the double left-hander of turn 9 and 10. We gain even more time, in fact, and we gain even more time as we go onto the straight. We actually gained a 10th from just going down the main straight, which I find odd. Obviously, our exit from the final corner was pretty decent, and as we come up now towards the end of the lap, we're gaining time again. We're 4/10 up on our previous time. We get on the curb a little bit there. Curbs are absolutely lethal in this game. You do not want to be touching them if you possibly can. We're coming down now towards the final 2 corners. It's 2 corners, isn't it? This is the final proper corner, and then turn 15 is just this kink here. We've actually gained half a second here. We're losing a little bit of time because the exit we got out the final corner wasn't great. Where are we going to be? P20. We've been out qualified by our teammate in the first race. And as the session ends, we actually finish bottom, dead last on the grid. And I actually forgot to change my nationality, so that's why I currently don't have a nationality. Robert Schwartzman qualifies in 18th, so decent start for him. We're a full 6.5 tenths behind him. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. But anyway, let's get into the race and see how many places we can make up, if any.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo and Norris, Vettel, Sainz, Leclerc and Lance Stroll, Gasly, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Robert Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin and Lawrence. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are then, ready to start the first race of the season. We occupy the back row with Nikita Mazepin, and this is different for me because, of course, now in F1 2021 there are no fuel mixes. You can only be on standard throughout the race, and also lean mixture under safety car. So fuel saving, I have no idea what's going to happen. Strategy wise, I know exactly what's going to happen. I was just seeing if there was maybe a quicker way. It's going to be a one stop for me, mediums to hards. Almost everyone in the top 10 is on softs, so they'll have to do 2 stops. So hopefully that is the way we make up places today. As we get ready then to line up to start the first race of the season here in Bahrain, we're at the 5 red lights. Lights out, we're underway in Bahrain, and compared to Mazepin and Latifi, it's a great start, but in the second phase we're dropping back a bit. Giovinazzi and Latifi both on the inside, maybe looking to make dives, but I'm going to make an absolutely humongous dive up the inside. We bang wheels with Yuki Tsunoda, we're up to P11, we get passed by Pierre Gasly in the other AlphaTauri, we're up to P12 from P22, we've made up 10 places at turn 1. I was definitely not thinking about lap 29 there, as we're in the middle of an AlphaTauri sandwich. Tsunoda down my inside, Gasly on the outside, Gasly's still there on the outside as well, and in the end we stay ahead of him for the moment. But now as we look at the start again from further up the field, in fact right to the front, look at the start that Max Verstappen gets behind Lewis Hamilton. He's alongside him already. Ricciardo's also getting interested. Perez has had quite a good start as well. He's ahead of Bottas, and Verstappen down the inside of Hamilton. But look at Vettel. Sorry, it's not Hamilton, it's Bottas. Look at Vettel go past both of them. Hamilton leads the race from Perez, and then Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, whilst Bottas and Verstappen continue to scrap behind, and that's allowing Daniel Ricciardo to get into the fight as well. Vettel carries on in 3rd place, and that's a fantastic start from the Aston Martin driver. But now back to our POV, and we're in a fight with the other AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda. He's got the slipstream on me, he's down my inside at turn 4. Can we hang it around the outside maybe and continue ahead of him? He's still alongside me as we head down the hill, and we're on the outside of him this time. This is how Gasly tried to pass me on lap 1. Tsunoda stays off there. He tries to go round my outsides, which would turn into the inside line, but we hold him off at the hairpin. And whilst all this was going on, my teammate Robert Schwartzman is also in a massive battle with the 2 Haas cars and also Nicholas Latifi as well as they head down to turn 4. It's Mick Schumacher who leads this pack of 4. Schwartzman around the outside of Latifi, just trying to stay ahead. Latifi hangs it round there, just like Tsunoda did on me. It's the exact same battle, but it's 2 different cars instead. As we go through turn 8 there, Schwartzman still has Latifi down his inside. They still come out of the turn side by side, heading to the double left-hander. This is never going to work. One of these guys is surely going to have to give way, and it is Latifi who goes way too wide there, is off the track and surrenders the place, and also the place to Mazepin as well. And as we head on down to the final corner towards lap 4 now, we're still holding our own in P12, keeping Tsunoda and the 2 Alpines of Alonso and Ocon behind as well. We are draining the battery a little bit just to keep them behind. Tsunoda's in our slipstream here. He might actually have a chance of getting past here. He's actually going to try it. We've got a yellow flag behind us. I don't know what's happened there. Tsunoda is down my inside. Again at turn 1, we have an oversteer into the corner. We force Tsunoda out. George Russell is out of the session. And as he came onto the main straight, he just lost power. He nearly cuts off Giovinazzi, and then Mick Schumacher also trying to overtake there as Russell pulls off to the sides, and it's not been a good day for Williams so far. And we can now see a replay of the battle between me and Tsunoda whilst George Russell's car blew up. You can see him in the background there, just blowing up. Tsunoda went down the inside. We then stopped it here to see George Russell out of the race. Tsunoda stuck it in there with me as well, and now he's alongside me. But Alonso is also getting interested. Alonso with the DRS behind us. We turn into turn 4 and Tsunoda gets a bit out of shape, and that allows Fernando Alonso to get up to P13, but Tsunoda's now going to battle him down the hill instead of me. We've managed to just pull away ever so slightly there as Tsunoda and Alonso continue. We're on board with Tsunoda and now with Alonso as they're now going wheel to wheel once again, just like Latifi and Schwartzman did. And again, this isn't going to work surely, but actually it does this time for Yuki Tsunoda. He hangs it around the outside, but they're still wheel to wheel. I can't believe Tsunoda actually kept it on the track there. We're getting away from them a little bit because they're battling so much. They're still wheel to wheel as we go back upwards again. And this is carried on for nearly an entire lap now. But luckily for Tsunoda, he remains ahead of Alonso, but only just. And as we now head on to start lap 8, people are starting to pit. As you can see in the top left, Verstappen and Stroll and Ricciardo are all in the pits. Anyone else in the pits as well? There's a Ferrari in there as well. That's Charles Leclerc, who's in the pits right now. We're up to P8 and we've still got Yuki Tsunoda trying to get past us. He's got a little bit of damage to his front wing end plate there on the right hand side. We oversteer coming out of turn 1. And as we now head on to lap 10, as you can see, all the 2 stoppers have now made their stops, which means that Pierre Gasly is the man that leads the race. Lewis Hamilton just behind him at the moment, but it's Gasly who leads. Of course, don't forget, he was in P11 at the start. Like, after the start, he overtook me for P11, and he now finds himself in the lead. We find ourselves in P5 currently, because of course, we're only making the 1 stop. Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso behind me. Tsunoda has pit at this point, so he's all the way at the back in P21. But it's Gasly who leads. Very interesting indeed. I wonder how high he can finish in this race. And as we head on to lap 12, it's Pierre Gasly now in 3rd place. He's been overtaken by Hamilton and Perez. It makes sense. Gasly's on old mediums. Hamilton and Perez, I believe, are on softs. I'm not too sure, I can't remember. But now he's in a massive scrap with Valtteri Bottas for 3rd place, and he's definitely holding his own here as Pierre. He's not taking anything for granted here. He's keeping Bottas behind, but Bottas has the much better pace. He gets him on the straight before the pit straight, the one with no DRS, but Gasly's hanging in there at the moment. He's not going to give up without a fight here. He's going to get the DRS on Valtteri Bottas, and he's actually going to close up to Bottas and actually go to get back past him once again, and he's actually made the move as well. So Gasly gets back past Bottas and back up into 3rd place. Lovely stuff from the Frenchman. As 1 lap later, we now go to pit to get rid of our old rubbish medium tyres. It's our one and only stop in this race. I definitely have pit assist on, as you can see there. I literally went full pelt into the pit lane, but we're going to get rid of our mediums and put on some nice, fresh, new, hard, white striped tyres. Absolutely lovely. Can we pick up the pace maybe? Who knows? And also look at the bottom right as well. I overfueled myself for 2 laps because I had no idea how fuel saving would work. We're 14 laps into the race and I'm at 2.1. So really, at least in this track, fuel saving is fine. You don't need to save fuel. Well, there isn't really fuel to save because I have remained at around +2 laps of fuel. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's how it continues on in this game, because I am rubbish at fuel saving. Now we head 5 laps later onto lap 19, and we come round turn 1 to this entire gaggle of cars coming out of the pit lane. Lance Stroll, Charles Leclerc, and also Esteban Ocon, I think one of the Alpines was one of them. Either way, we're now suddenly wheel to wheel with Lance Stroll. Leclerc's also getting interested on Stroll as well. We've managed to remain ahead, and now it's Leclerc and Stroll who are going wheel to wheel. Or is it as Stroll has somehow found the pace to go level with me again, but we remain ahead of Stroll, and Leclerc sees the opportunity, overtakes Stroll, and then starts to try and overtake me as well, but in doing so, he allows Stroll back past himself, and now they're going wheel to wheel into the double left-hander, and once again, will this work for either of them? Leclerc nearly spins me round there, Stroll hangs it around the outside of him, and they're going wheel to wheel down the back straight now, both with DRS on me. I'm trying to defend from both of them. Leclerc goes down my inside, and we try and hang it around the outside, but Leclerc actually gets ahead of us. So unfortunately, we're out of the points. We were hanging on to 10th place, that 1 point, but unfortunately for us, it's just not going to happen, is it? We're not going to get that point. Our car is just not fast enough. And now as we head on to lap 22, Carlos Sainz, who's come out of the pits in P10, is now battling his teammate Charles Leclerc. This is only like 2 seconds clear of me, and Sainz gets through on his teammate, which is very, very interesting indeed. And then as you can see behind them, there's me, there's Alonso, Raikkonen, Ocon, and all of us who are just... I'm trying to keep them behind at this point. And that's pretty much it. My entire stint on the hard tyres was just to keep the cars behind. We did exactly that. We're going to agonisingly miss out on the points by 1 place, but P11 from starting P22 on the grid is not bad at all for our first race in this LZR Racing car. Absolutely brilliant in the end. We get driver of the day as well, which is always nice. And yeah, decent first race when you think about it.
Smiling faces on the pit wall after a superb win here at Sakir. And rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So there we have it then, that ends our first race of the season, and a very familiar podium in a way, because it's Hamilton, Bottas and Perez, not Hamilton, Bottas and Verstappen, but it's still 2 Mercedes and a Red Bull. It's probably something we're going to get used to in this season, of it only being Mercedes and Red Bull on this podium. But as you can see, Hamilton wins the race from Bottas, from Perez. Pierre Gasly ended up finishing in 5th place, so very, very nice job for him. And we end up finishing 11th, but that's not bad. We started last on the grid, we gained 11 places. We pretty much gained them all on lap 1 in fairness, but even then, that's still pretty good going, isn't it? Lando Norris had a shocker. He made 3 stops for some reason and finished P19. We finished ahead of the Alpines. We finished ahead of an Alpha Tauri. We finished ahead of McLaren. Robert Schwartzman also finished in P16, which is not bad going from him. He also gained 2 places as well, which is always nice to see. And a quick look at the constructor standings as well sees us in 7th place, because obviously we finished P11, so we got the highest place out of all the non-points finishers, meaning we are currently above Alpine. I don't think I'll be saying that any more times this season, I'll be honest. And to end off this episode, we have our first personnel department event, or just department event. This is in the personnel department though, and that is that apparently Robert Schwartzman has been really hitting his stride in the simulator. It says whilst they're in the zone, where should we get them to focus their development? We can either add +7 to his pace or +7 to his awareness. Now, for me, that's a no-brainer. I'm adding 7 to his pace straight away, because at the moment, with the position we're in, we need him to be as fast as he can be. Awareness will help in the long run, but right now, we just need him to be quick. So we're going to make him quicker and add 7 onto his pace. But that is it for this episode 1 of F1 2021 My Team. Apologies that it was a bit of a long one. We're approaching 30 minutes here as I commentate, but of course we had to get all the admin out of the way at the start and all that. Future episodes will not be this long, because we'll start off with like R&D, department events, blah 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 blah, but that will not take 10 minutes to do. So hopefully future episodes should be around about 20-ish minutes maybe. I'll see what I can do. But next up, we're at Spain, which sounds weird that that's the second race of the season, but anyway, let's have it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more, and if you don't want to miss a video, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button. You'll get a notification whenever I upload. Until next time guys, thanks so much for watching. Peace.